Good morning, buenos dias, and welcome to the first of our recipes from Spain as we begin our month of Spanish food. Now today we're going to do a very simple dish, but although it's very simple, it's one I've tried for many years to try and master, and I'm possibly getting a bit closer now than I was. My problem was that when I first tasted this dish about 45 years ago, my first ever extended visit to Spain, I went to a city called Burgos in the north of Spain, and I stayed in a very small flat which had a bar downstairs, conveniently for me, and the bar, as many or most do, had a few tapas on top of the bar, including this one, and it was very cheap, very filling, and very tasty. So it was perfect for a poor, impoverished student to fill up on. And if you haven't guessed already, that dish is a Spanish omelette, or Tortilla Española. And as I say, ingredients wise, it really is very simple. We only need 5 ingredients, and one of those is slightly controversial, but let me start. We have olive oil, salt, eggs, potatoes, and onion. Now there is some dispute and schools of thought in Spain that you shouldn't put onion in a Spanish omelette. Others say you should. I'm very much of the view that you should. I think it adds enormously to the flavour and texture. But apart from that, you could add some herbs, you could add a bit of pepper. I don't honestly think it's necessary. Your salt is all you need for seasoning. So we're going to head to the kitchen. I'm going to slice my potatoes and my onions, and while I'm doing that, let's have a quick check on the equipment. So today we're going to need a chopping board, a knife, a wooden spoon, a saucepan, a sieve or a colander, a frying pan, and a spatula. Okay, so I've sliced up my potatoes very thinly, as hopefully you can see, and I'm just going to add a little bit of salt to them. I'm going to salt the egg as well later, so it's a bit of both. And I've sliced my onions up very thinly, so they're going into a saucepan together with the potatoes, and then quite a portion of olive oil. Don't use your most expensive olive oil for this, otherwise you'll be paying for it for a month. So there we are. I've got my potatoes and onions in the pan in oil, and I'm going to heat that now very gently for around 20 minutes. I'm not trying to fry them. I don't want them to turn brown, although if they catch a little bit, that's okay, but we're not really frying them. We're almost stewing them in olive oil. So a gentle heat for around 20 minutes. In the meantime, let's have a bonus recipe. So now then, while our potatoes and onions are stewing away in the pan, Tortilla Española, perfect dish for a hot, sunny Sunday in Spain, as exactly it is here today. But if it's hot and sunny, you need something cool and refreshing. And in Spain, that has to be sangria. So while that's cooking, let's quickly make a jug of sangria. So what do we need? Well, red wine is the largest ingredient. We're going to put in about half a bottle, a little bit more maybe. That's about half a bottle. Then we're going to add just a glass of rosé. Then we're going to add a shot of Spanish brandy, Fundador. And what I've got here is some Moscatel, which is a fortified wine or wine liqueur. You can use Masala or Madeira, at a pinch some sweet sherry, or you could use a shot of Cointreau or Grand Marnier or something like that, because that fits the flavour. a shot of that. And then I've chopped up some orange already, and I'm just going to add that into my dip dish and mush it around a little bit, just to let some of the orange flavour come out. And now that is going to go into the fridge to chill, but also to let all the flavours mingle. And then later on we're going to add the last two ingredients, which are Fanta orange and then some fresh fruit. And I've got some more orange, some apple, a clementine and some strawberries. So I'll add them later on. We'll head back, finish off our omelette and enjoy a lovely cool glass of sangria. Okay, so I've cooked off my potatoes and onions and I've put them through a sieve to get the rest of the oil I cooked them in off. I'm just going to put a little bit of that oil back into the pan. We don't need the rest, you can use that for something else at a later date. Just spread the oil around the pan. And then we put our potatoes and onions back in. Make sure they're reasonably level. Now we get our eggs. I'm going for 3 eggs today. Let's beat them a bit. And add a bit of salt. Not too much, but just right. Okay. And then we pour the egg mixture over the potatoes and onions. Spread that around. And now that's going to cook for around 15 or 20 minutes on a low heat. Then we get the interesting bit where we have to try turning it over. But while this is cooking, let's have a check on all our ingredients. So for our tortilla, very simple, around 300 grams of waxy potatoes thinly sliced, 150 grams of onion thinly sliced, 150 milliliters of olive oil, 3 or 4 eggs, and salt, possibly pepper if you would like some. Now for the sangria, we need 1 orange sliced, half a bottle of red wine, a glass of rosé wine, a shot of cognac, a shot of sweet wine like Masala or Madeira, around 250 milliliters of Fanta orange, and then some seasonal fruit chopped up. Okay, so our omelette's been cooking off for around 20 minutes now. It's done on the bottom, and now the challenge is to turn it over to get it to cook properly. So what I do is take a plate, securely flick it over like that, and then slide it back into the pan like that. It worked. Phew. So that's more or less it. Now we're just going to shake that and let that cook for 2 or 3 minutes. But I don't want it to cook for too long because I still want it to be just that little bit soft inside. So while we're just waiting for that to finish, let's finish our sangria. So we've got our alcohol mixture, which we did earlier and chilled. All I'm going to do now is add the Fanta. Give you a bit of a stir around. And I've got my glass with ice. That's some mixed fruit. One way shot. And then pour our sangria over our ice and our fruit. There we are. Just set the ice door a little bit. Get back to our omelette. Yep, I think we're about there. So that can slide off now onto our plate. Ready to serve. There we are. Tortilla Española y sangria. Salud.